video, I am going to explain about nanomaterials, and the video is made according to VTU syllabus module 5. And the syllabus includes the introduction and size dependent properties of nanomaterials, synthesis of nanomaterials, and about nanoscale materials. So first we will see what is nanoscience and nanotechnology. The term nano originates from the Greek word and it means dwarf. The term indicates physical dimensions that are in the range of 1 billionth of a meter. Nanoscience is the study of structures and materials on the nanometer scale. The term nanotechnology was defined by Norio Taniguchi in 1974 at the Tokyo International Conference on Production Engineering. Nanotechnology can be defined as the design, characterization, production, and application of structures, devices, and systems by controlling size and shape on a nanometer scale. Nanotechnology is an interdisciplinary science involving chemistry, physics, material science, biology, and medicine. Feynman, a Nobel laureate in physics, first presented the idea that there is plenty of rooms at the bottom, an invitation to enter a new field of physics, that is miniaturization of materials, at the American Physical Society at California Institute of Technology. Invention of instruments like scanning tunneling microscope, atomic force microscope, and many other instruments started the nano revolution. What are nanomaterials? Nanomaterials are the substances where at least one dimension is less than approximately 100 nanometers. A nanometer is approximately 80,000 times smaller than the diameter of a human hair. Nano means 10 raised to minus 9 and nanometer is 10 raised to minus 9 meter. Nanomaterials are intermediate in size between that of isolated atoms or molecules and bulk materials. Just to compare how small is the nanoscale, few examples are given here. An atom is less than a nanometer, and if we arrange 10 hydrogen atoms in a row, it will be nearly 1 nanometer. And the width of the DNA molecule is about 2.5 nanometer wide. And the size of the red blood cells is in few thousands nanometer. And a pinhead sized patch, it is shown in this thumb, it is 1 million nanometer across. So here again it is shown a scale for the comparison of size of materials. Water molecule is shown here. This is 0.1 nanometer in size, and glucose molecule is 1 nanometer in size, and a virus is approximately 100 nanometer in size. A bacterium is 1000 nanometer in size, and cancer cells are 10 raised to 4 nanometer in size. And the tip of a pencil is 10 raised to 6 nanometer, and a tennis ball is 10 raised to 8 nanometer in size. In this scale, we can see that the 1 to 100 nanometer range, it is shown separately down. Because this range is important for us, we are going to study about the materials which are coming under 100 nanometer, at least one dimension. Antibodies, fullerenes, carbon nanotubes, nanoparticles and all coming under within 100 nanometers, at least one direction of these materials. So we are going to study in detail about the materials which are coming within 100 nanometer size. Next is about the classification of nanomaterials. Nanomaterials are classified into mainly three types: zero-dimensional, one-dimensional, and two-dimensional materials. So now we will see each one. What are zero-dimensional materials? So here it is shown the fullerene molecule, and if we see the movement of the electrons in any direction, here it is confined within this three dimensions, it is confined. If you see any material in our world that is in three dimensions, that means it is having x, y, and z axis. So if you take a very small material in the nanoscale, the movement of the electrons, it is confined in all the three dimensions within 100 nanometer, then it is called as a zero-dimensional material. That means the electrons are not free to move in any direction more than 100 nanometer. That means it is confined within 100 nanometer in all the three dimensions. So that is called a zero-dimensional material. So if in any material, if it is confined, the movement of the electrons within three dimensions in all the three directions, it is called as a quantum dot. Examples are nanoparticles and nanocrystals. Second one is one-dimensional material. In any material, if the electrons are free to move in one direction more than 100 nanometer and the other two dimensions, if it is confined within 100 nanometer, then it is called as a one-dimensional material. Here it is shown a carbon nanotube. You can see that the length is more. It is more than 100 nanometer. But here, if you see the diameter, it is coming within 100 nanometer. So in one-dimensional material, the electrons are free to move in one direction and the other two directions are confined within 100 nanometer. Such materials are also called as quantum wires. Example for one-dimensional materials are nanowires and nanotubes. The third one is two-dimensional material. In two-dimensional material, the electrons are free to move in two directions and it is confined only in one direction. Such materials are called as quantum wells. Example for two-dimensional materials are nanofilms and nanocoatings. So zero-dimensional nanomaterials or nanoparticles, quantum confinement occurs in all three dimensions and not free to move in any direction. If all the three dimensions of the nanostructure is at nanoscale, then it is called a quantum dot. In one-dimensional nanomaterials, like nanowires and nanotubes, quantum confinement is restricted to two dimensions, whereas free to move in one direction. If two dimensions of the nanostructure is at nanoscale, then it is called a quantum wire. In two-dimensional nanomaterials like nanofilms and nanocoatings, quantum confinement takes place in one dimension, whereas free to move in two directions. If one dimension of the nanostructure is at nanoscale, then it is called a quantum well. So here it is shown the image of a bulk semiconductor material, that is three-dimensional material. Here it is free to move in all the three dimensions. But when you go to the two-dimensional material like this, here it is free to move in two directions, but it is quantum confinement is taking place in one direction. So in quantum wires, it is free to move in one dimension and in the other two dimensions, it is quantum confinement is taking place. And in quantum dot or zero-dimensional material, the quantum confinement is taking place in all the three dimensions and it is not free to move in any direction. Next is about what is the significance of nanoscale. Properties are distinct on the nanoscale from those at the larger scale. Changes in physical dimensions of the materials changes the properties of the materials because of the changes in the electronic structure of the materials. The properties of the materials are distinct at the nano level due to two reasons. One is the increased surface area and the second one is quantum confinement effect. First, we will see about what is quantum confinement effect. The quantum confinement effect is observed when the size of the particle is too small to be comparable to the wavelength of the electron. The word confinement means to confine the motion of randomly moving electron to restrict its motion in specific energy levels. The specific energy levels are called as discrete energy levels. The decrease in confining dimension makes the energy levels discrete, and this increases or widens up the band gap of the material. Quantum confinement effect. In nanocrystals, the electronic energy levels are not continuous like in the bulk material. So because of the size is decreasing, the number of energy levels are getting separated. So because of that reason, the band gap is also increasing. So here it is shown in this image, a bulk semiconductor, how the energy levels are closely packed. But as the size is decreased, the energy levels are getting separated. The number of energy levels are decreasing and also the distance is increasing between the energy levels. So because of that reason, the band gap of the material is also increasing. This phenomenon is called quantum confinement, and nanocrystals are also called as quantum dots. When moving from a three-dimensional material to a zero-dimensional material, there is a difference in the band gap that we have already seen. So as the band gap increases, the amount of energy absorbed from the electromagnetic radiations or light, that also will vary. So as the band gap increases, that materials will be absorbing a light with high energy or low wavelength. So a shift in the absorption of energy levels will be taking place according to the band gap of the material. If as the size of the material is decreasing, the band gap is increasing, so there will be a shift in the absorption to a higher energy level. So that is called as blue shift. If the light is absorbing from a lower energy level, that is called as red shift. So due to the difference in absorption of energy from the electromagnetic radiation, the material will show a difference in color also. So which wavelength light it is absorbing, according to the color of the material also will change. So as we go to nano level, so the size of the material is decreasing. According to that, the color of the material is also will change. Now we will see few applications of nanomaterials. So nanotechnology made today's products very light, stronger, faster, smaller, and more durable. So we can buy different types of sports equipment, bicycles, automobiles, made with very high strength material and lightweight. It is made of usually plastic composites that contain carbon nanotubes. So in automobile industry also, in various places they are using the nanotechnology to make the material strong and lightweight. And in textile industry also, it can be used to make water resistant, stain resistant, and cloth without making odor. So all these things can be done by using nanoparticles. In cosmetics and sunscreen industry also they are using nanomaterials. Nanoparticles are mainly used in sunscreen or titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. They will protect the skin from UVA and UVB radiations that will cause sunburn, skin cancer, aging of the skin and wrinkling of the skin. So that and all can be avoided by using nanomaterials in the sunscreen. In the field of medicine also there are a lot of applications in diagnosis, in imaging and in drug delivery system also. So nanoshells are used to cure the cancerous cells. So nanoshells will be injected into cancer area and they will identify the cancerous cells. So then after that we will apply an IR radiation and this IR radiation will be absorbed by the nanoshells and these nanoshells will pass on the heat energy into the cancerous cells and it will kill the cancerous cells. So by this process we can save the healthy cells. And in drug delivery system also we can use nanoparticles. So the encapsulated drug delivery system, so it will be passed through the bloodstream to all parts of the body. The drug is only released when it reaches the tumor or the affected area. Nanorobotics is also another field. So here we are making machines or robots whose components are close to the scale of a nanometer, or it is the engineering discipline of designing and building nanorobots with size 0.1 to 10 micrometer range. So this in robots can be used to cure diseases and to clean the lungs, to clean the teeth. In all these fields we can use the nanorobotics. Some more applications of nanotechnology in the engineering field. Nanophosphors are used to increase the resolution of high definition TVs and monitors. So mainly used one nanophosphors are zinc selenide, zinc sulfide, cadmium sulfide and lead telluride. So as the particle size reduces, the resolution increases. So this property is used to increase the resolution of high definition TVs and monitors. Another application is in computer chips. So as the size of the computer chips are decreasing in transistors, resistors and capacitors, so we can achieve a reduction in their size in the microprocessors and they can run much faster and thereby increasing the speed. One more application is in transistors. Silicon nanowire operate faster and use less power than conventional transistors and without suffering from current leakage. So silicon nanowires can be used in junctionless transistors. And another application is in catalysis. Due to their enhanced chemical activity, nanomaterials can be used as catalyst to react with toxic gases like carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide in automobile catalytic converters and power generation equipment to prevent environmental pollution arising from burning gasoline and coal. The application of nanomaterials in the aerospace industry is also very vast. So all the applications of nanomaterials are summarized here in chemical industry, automotive industry, cosmetics, food processing and packaging industry, energy sources, medicine and electronic industry. So few applications you can remember to write for the exam. Detailed application is not required. Just to understand the topic, I have given few examples explanation. Next is about the size dependent properties of nanomaterials. So we have already seen that when we go to the nano level, the properties of the materials are changing due to the quantum confinement effect. So nanomaterials have properties that are different from those of bulk materials that depend on the crystal structure, shape and size. Materials with same structure and composition will show different properties when the size changes. As the size of particle decreases, surface area to volume ratio increases. This results in changes in physical, chemical, mechanical, optical and electrical properties. So when it is going to the nano level, a larger fraction of surface atoms will be present and the surface energy also will increase. So because of that, spatial confinement takes place and the imperfections present in the crystal also will reduce. So because of all these properties, the nanomaterials show different properties compared to bulk material. Quantum confinement decides the properties of matter as size is reduced to the nanoscale. The energy band structure and charge carrier density in the materials can be different from their bulk and in turn will modify the properties of the materials. So in size dependent properties, we have to study about 5 properties. First one is about surface area, how surface area is going to affect the properties of the nanomaterials. So we can consider a bulk material. So I have shown a cube here. It's a bulk material. It is gold. It is taken here. It is 1 cube. So it is each side of this cube is 1 meter. So the gold cube I have taken with 1 meter side. And it is only one particle it is. And if you calculate the area of this cube, it will come as 6 meters square because each side is 1 meter. So the area is 6 meters square. So the same cube we are dividing it into 64 particles. And the side of each small cube is 0.25 meter. So if we calculate what is the surface area of all the particles together, then the surface area is coming as 24 meters square. Again, we are making these cubes into very fine particles with 1 nanometer size. So each side of this particles, it is 1 nanometer. So if you make powder of 1 nanometer size, then we will be getting total 10⁻27 gold particles. So if you calculate the surface area of each small particle and when you add it up, the surface area of all these particles together, it will become 6,000 kilometers square or 6 billion meters square it will become. So from this example, you can see that how the surface area is increasing as the particle size is decreasing. So only 1 cube we are taken here with 1 meter size is making it into 1 nanometer size. The surface area, it is increasing enormously. That is from 6 meters square to 6 billion meters square. So because of this reason, the nanomaterials are showing difference in properties compared to the bulk material. So nanomaterials will have a much greater surface area per given volume compared with larger particles. Next is the second property, that is catalytic property. So here we are going to see what will happen if the bulk material is going to the nano level, what will happen to the catalytic property. So all of you know that a catalyst is a substance which is added to any reaction to increase or decrease the rate of a reaction, and it will control the rate of the reaction without consumed in the reaction, and it can act repeatedly without undergoing any chemical reaction. So in catalysis process, the properties of the nanomaterials are totally different from bulk to solid system. So when the size of the object is reduced to the nanometer range, we have seen that the surface area is increasing enormously. And catalysis is the process, it depends on surface area of the material. So properties like catalytic activity, gas absorption, and chemical reactivity increases as the particle size decreases. Catalytic chemical reactions occur at surfaces, therefore a given mass of nanomaterial will be much more reactive than the same mass of material made up of large particles. TiO2 nanoparticle doped with silver, gold, platinum are used as very good catalytic material to absorb the pollutants from the environment. Bulk gold is inactive, whereas gold nanoparticles are catalytically active for selective redox reactions. Properties, electrical properties. The electronic bands in bulk materials are continuous due to overlapping of orbitals of billions of atoms in bulk material. But in case of nanomaterials, the energy levels are discrete due to decrease in number of atoms. Metals which are good conductors in bulk can become semiconductors and insulators as their size is decreased to the nanoscale. Quantum confinement causes the energy of the band gap to increase due to loss of energy levels as the particle size decreases. Nanoparticles made of semiconducting materials like germanium, silicon, and cadmium are not semiconductors in the nano level. Next is about the optical properties. The optical band gap increases with the decrease in particle size. The discrete electronic states permit the absorption or emission of light of specific wavelength when light hits on the nanoparticle surface. Hence, nanomaterial exhibit a unique color when compared to bulk material. So how this is happening is due to a phenomenon called as surface plasmon resonance. So next we will see what is that. When light hits a metal surface, produces a group of surface conduction electrons called surface plasmon. In case of nanomaterials, the surface plasmon is localized in a particular space. So it oscillates back and forth in a synchronized way in a small space, and the effect is called localized surface plasmon resonance. But in case of bulk material, the electrons are free to move. Surface plasmon resonance is only observed if the particle size of the material is less than the wavelength of the incident radiation. The discrete electronic states permit the absorption or emission of light of specific wavelength. Hence, nanomaterial exhibit unique color when compared to bulk materials due to quantum confinement effect. Gold is golden yellow in bulk, but in colloidal gold, it appears ruby red in color. The next property is about thermal properties. In nanomaterials, a large fraction of atoms are present on the surface. Surface atoms can be more easily removed than bulk atoms. So the total energy needed to overcome the intermolecular force that holds the atoms is less in case of nanomaterials. Due to decrease in size of material, surface energy increases and the melting point decreases. This is because surface atoms require less energy to move because they are in contact with less number of atoms of the substance. These are the 5 properties of nanoscale materials.